Katie from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up today with day 25 of Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches. Today's prompt is in the top left of the screen there. Today's sketch is in the top left of the screen, and today's prompt is punches or dies. Now, unfortunately, I didn't think this through when I was editing, and where the sketch is, you can see, or just see, poking out underneath that sketch there, is a punch, a circle punch. Now, I've definitely used punches on this layout, 100%. So in that regard, I have met the prompt. It's a little bit of a cheat, and I'm going to explain to you why as we go through this layout. So I am basically, I do add the circles, I do. I had some scrap paper left, and I was just adding in the circles onto the page, but did it need them? Probably not. So I am following this sketch, sort of. Yeah, look, it's loose. I definitely had the intention of following this sketch. It probably turns out nothing really like the sketch at all. But just know I had the intention of going with the sketch. I am using the last little bits of my September sort of kit focus that I was focusing on. Technically, I was focusing on this in August, that's true, but carried into September, and that was Paige Evans' Fancy Free collection. Now, in an earlier video that went up this month, I said that I had used... it was the pattern paper background prompt. I said that I had used all of the last little bits of the collection. That's not true. This is the layout where I literally added everything I had left from the sheet, from the chipboard sheet, and all of the papers that I had left. So there is basically this collection that I had, which was small. I only had a handful of 12 by 12 papers and some of the chipboard. That was it, and I used as much of it as I could. So I punched out those circles, which was from one of the pattern papers, and then they do make it on the layout, so I am using the prompt of punches / dies. In this case I'm using punches, but it definitely, it's not cheating. They go on the page. I've used them, but I will say the page didn't necessarily need them. I do love how it turned out. It definitely, I'd kind of created this layout and then realized that I was just following along the sketch going, yeah, this works, it's close enough. And then I kind of realized I hadn't used the Scraptember prompt, and I'm like, oh no, I need to use the Scraptember prompt. I mean, that's my series. I have to use the prompt. So I actually kind of went back, punched out these circles and recreated this layout. So I hadn't filmed it, I hadn't stuck anything down, I was just kind of playing around, which is what I often do before I turn the camera on. But I sort of what I'm doing now, it's a lot different to what I'd initially kind of been playing around at, because I wanted to include these punched out circles. So as I said, I pulled off every single piece of chipboard I had left in the chipboard sheet. One of them I end up using to pop up my photo because it just was a piece I was not going to be able to use otherwise. But otherwise, everything else makes it onto this page. It's a bit of a mishmash, but to be honest, I love the colours. The colours of this collection was great. And I'm surprised I hadn't used it earlier. It was not hard to use up. Even though it was a bit of a... I mean, there was lots of like house plants and it was a bit kind of home related, I guess, but it was super easy to use up. I really enjoyed it. The papers were lovely. The colours were lovely. The only thing I didn't love is the chipboard is really thick. Now, I had created my title already. I don't love how this title turned out. I probably need to move it a little bit, to be honest. And I'm looking at the layout in front of me now while I'm doing my voiceover. I actually might move some of these thickers before I put this layout away. But there you go. Sorry, I don't know why the sketch popped off the screen and then back on. But anyway, it's back now. So my title is really long and I use some large thickers. They've got like a minty background with gold. They're beautiful thickers actually. And I really like this bold title. Again, it's definitely not in keeping with the sketch, but I don't know. The sketch is loosely, it's there. Believe me when I said I had every intention of following the sketch, and I did, but then I just went in my own little world. So let me tell you who's playing along today. So obviously we shout out people every day that we're delivering this series, running this series. We're getting to the pointy end. We've only got 5 days left. So today, obviously, Laura, Christy playing along. Of course, every day, creators of this series. They're always linked down below. And today we have Tracy Reed joining us and Angela Bartlett. So they will both be linked in the description box as our special guests. But so much fun. There's so many people playing along. So there are a lot of links in the description box. If you haven't checked my description box and you've been playing along, watching along all month, just do it. There are so many people linked down there. And you will not regret it. I promise you. So anyway, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people playing. It's been a phenomenally successful month. So I hope you have enjoyed it as much as we have. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Go and check out our special guests as well as those playing along every day. Now, all I'm really doing is sticking everything down and making sure it's going to adhere nicely and it's all going to kind of work. It did take me a little bit of time to stick everything down. Pretty sure I didn't edit any of it out. I do apologize for that. I was trying to rush through, but that's okay. It just means my voiceovers are a little longer, but the editing process is quicker. So it's 6 to 1, I suppose, but that's what we're doing. I'm also just fiddling with these stickers on my actual page because I didn't love how they ended up. But anyway, there we go. So I'm using wet glue for this as well, which takes a little bit longer to dry, but I'd pulled off the sticky part of the chipboard because I was fiddling around, moving things around, playing around, and I will say the sticky stuff is sticky. It sticks really well, so I knew I wouldn't have any kind of wiggle room. Once I'd stuck something down, it was going to be stuck. So I peeled off the sticky part so I could kind of mess around, play around, move things around. It does mean I have to use wet glue because the chipboardy stuff is very, it's like flaky. And if I try to use my ATG, it just doesn't stick. So yeah, that's why I'm using wet glue. I have almost finished this bottle of art glitter glue. I love this glue and I want to buy another bottle. I have a few other things I need to use up first. But I definitely really like this glue. So I will definitely be getting more of it. Highly recommend. I possibly should invest in like a little fine line bottle. Maybe you can get a little tip for this. Have I seen a little metal tip on this? Is it this glue that I've seen a little metal tip on? But it's definitely would benefit from a slower, I don't know, it's something about the pressure. It's probably physics, science related, but sometimes the glue just spurts out the top. And which is not great because then you end up with way more glue than you want. And I think the fine liner bottle would help with this and it would help me use less glue. And you don't need a lot of it. It has great sticking power, but it's just a logistics of the bottle, I guess. So here's my title, and you can see potentially why those stickers are just not gelling. Because they're not in a nice symmetrical line. That's because I stuck some ephemera down that was the chipboard. So I couldn't put my stickers on top because it was too thick. The chipboard was too thick. This is a time when I should have peeled all the layers off the chipboard, but I didn't. So I have actually just then, you probably heard me, I've moved the stickers along the word just, the word and the word cat. I've moved them along so they're in a straight line now. Looks way better. Don't know why I didn't do that at the time, but anyway. So my title, Just a Boy and His Cat, and then underneath it says Watching Garbage Trucks. So they were both looking out the window while the garbage truck was going by, and it was hilarious. I'm vigorously shaking one of my Heidi Swapp colour shines here, the blush colour, just to get all of the little ball bearing moving in the bottom to shake up all the actual pigment into the solution, which I assume is water. So yeah, I was just vigorously giving that a shake, and then same with the navy. So I'm all finished. Make sure you check out everything linked in the description box down below. Here is my close-up, and we will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks, guys. Bye.